Hello everyone, my name is Pedram and today I'm going to teach you how to use GitHub account and how to basically work with GitHub through GitHub Desktop. So this tutorial is for non-developers. It means that we're going to explore these things without coding. Basically, we want to use GitHub Desktop as our platform, which makes it a lot easier to work with Git and GitHub. All right. So let's start with what is GitHub. So GitHub is a code hosting platform for version control and collaboration. So what does that mean? It means that it lets you and others to work together on projects from anywhere, right? So in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to use GitHub Essentials, like what is repository, what does committing mean, and what is pull and push request, right? Again, we're going to keep this tutorial very basic and straightforward because it's designed for non-developers. Okay, so first thing is that you have to set up an account. You have to sign up for an account on GitHub. Okay, so if you don't have already an account, you go to github.com and then you simply come here and just click on sign up. When you sign up, it asks for your username. So you can say, so for example, I say Pedram test. So I'm going to call it Pedram test because, well, this one is not available. Let's say Pedram JJ. I'm going to go ahead and afterward delete this account. All right, it seems that I cannot use this name. So let's say Pedram-JJ. Again, I'm going to, because I already have a couple of accounts on GitHub, so Pedram hyphen Jahangiri, which is my last name, is already taken. So I'm going to go with Pedram hyphen JJ, and you can go ahead and delete these accounts whenever you want. Okay, so you come up with a username and then you pick one of your email addresses. So if you haven't used your Aggie email for GitHub, I recommend you to do it to use your Aggie email or whatever email you prefer. In terms of passwords, so just make sure you make a quick password. Okay, and then let's verify this account. It is asking for pick the dice per adding up to 7. Okay, this one. There's another one adding up to 7 again. We have this one. Okay, now the account is created, and okay, so you can save it, whatever. And it's basically asking you some basic questions. You know, go ahead and fill these things in whatever way it fits you. So if you're a student, pick a student. It really doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go with teacher, and then moderate amounts of programming. What do you plan to use GitHub for? Again, it really doesn't matter what you pick, but let's say learn to code, and I don't know, what else do we have? Collaborate with my team. Good. And I'm interested in, so for example, you can say you're interested in econometrics. Again, this is really not important, but machine learning, you can machine learning, things like that. Okay, then you complete the setup. Now you have to verify your email address. So let me pause the video, verify my email address, and I'll come back. Okay, I just verified my email address. Now, so if I refresh here, okay, so it automatically, when I click on my email, so this page came up. Okay, so now there are the basic things that you can do with your GitHub account, right? So basically, this is your GitHub. If you look at the URL, it's github/join/get started. And you can create a repository and create an organization and start learning. Again, if you're completely new to GitHub, you can start learning. It has some tutorials for you, but we want to keep it very simple and just quickly make a repository and see what is that repository, and then you can share that repository with other friends, right? So imagine if you want to create a repository, and let's say, okay, so this is the owner. The owner is going to be your username / whatever the repository name, right? So I'm going to call it PJ test, right? So this name is available. Description, I say, okay, this is a test. This is my first repo, okay? And you can make this repository either public or private. So just for the sake of argument, let's make it private. Again, if you want to share your code with others, you can make it public. And then if you give this address to your friends, they can access to your repository. They can clone your repository on their local computer. So we're going to talk about cloning as well in a couple of minutes, right? And then it is recommended that you add a README file to your repository because if your repository, the folder should have at least one file in it. So why not choosing it? Just README. You don't need to do anything with that, right? Then you click on Create Repository. Now the repository is being created. Well, now as you can see, if I go back to my account, so this is how it looks like in GitHub. So I don't have a profile picture for that, and I can see I have one repository already, right? Now I can go to the repository and see this is PJ test. So basically this is my first repository. Let's go ahead and let's see what we can do. What can we do with that, right? Now, as you can see, imagine you want to put some codes in this folder. Think of the repository as a folder that you want to share with your friends, right? So imagine I want to make a folder on my desktop on my computer. Either if it is I think if it is Windows or Mac, it really doesn't matter. The steps are exactly the same for both of them. I'm on a PC myself, but if you're doing it, if you're following the steps on your Mac, the steps are going to be exactly the same. So now we have a GitHub account, we have a repository, which is a test. Now we want to make a folder on our local computer and connect it to this repository. So it means that whenever I make changes on my local computer, I can push the changes to the repository and then it will be available online, right? So you can think of GitHub as a cloud that can store your codes forever, right? So basically you don't need to be worried that, okay, yeah, I don't have my laptop with me, so I don't have my hard disk with me, so what can I do? How can I access my codes from everywhere in the world? So one of the answers is just using GitHub, right? So you can store all your codes in your GitHub account, right? So let's see how we can do that. So you see this is a repository. If you go to the right, there is this code thing. If you click on it, it says that, okay, open with GitHub Desktop. Again, guys, this tutorial is for the non-developer, so it means that we're not going to code things. We're going to use GitHub Desktop, and GitHub Desktop is going to make our life a lot easier when it comes to pushing and pulling to our repository from local computer, right? All right, so when you click on the code, then just come down and say open with GitHub Desktop, click on it. So if you don't have GitHub Desktop on your computer, which so I don't have it either, so it means that it will navigate you to this page and automatically it will figure out what is your operating system. Mine is Windows 64 bits, yours can be different, it can be 32 or Mac OS, right? So you just click on it, download it. So it's being downloaded, and yeah, depending on your internet connection, it may take a minute or two, or even maybe less than that. So let me pause the video, and when the download is complete, I'll come back. All right, now the download is complete, and we can go ahead and just double click on this one. Now GitHub Desktop is being installed on our computer, right? And because I was logged in with my GitHub account, which was the username was pedram-jj. Do you remember that? So let me see, because I have other accounts on my computer, so it's already automatically logged in with my other account. So let me go ahead and log out from this one, and then I'm gonna show you how it's gonna look like in the other account. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and log out from my existing account, which is so sorry. Let me sign out here and then sign in with the new account that we just made, right? Continue with the browser. So let's see, what do we have? Yeah, it's asking you, it's basically authorizing GitHub Desktop to get access to your repository and etc. So you just say authorize desktop, and let's see. Oops, let me see, how can I log out of this and sign in again. All right, it seems that it was able to log in using my other accounts, but uh, here it seems fine, but it seems that there's a picture. This picture belongs to my USU account, so we will see what's going on. But on your computer, if this is the first time that you're using, you basically see your username here and without a picture, right? So let's go ahead. Now our GitHub account is connected to GitHub Desktop. And now in the next video, I'm going to show you how to clone a repository. Remember, we made a repository in our account. We call it PJ Test. And now we want to clone this repository to our computer. Okay, see you in the next one.